Hi, everyone. I hope you had a great long weekend and enjoyed the Friday and Monday off. I hope you were all able to at least do something outside. I know it was raining on Saturday, but I hope you enjoyed it. And now we're going to get back to work. So we are now on lesson 8 of our fantasy unit. And just a reminder, remember to listen to the read alouds that were posted from last week and from this week, because all of the lessons that I teach will be based off of those lessons. And I don't want to spoil anything in The Thief of Always from the lessons. And I also want you to understand what's going on in the book. So when I'm teaching about things that are happening in my book, which is The Thief of Always, you understand what's happening. All right, so this is lesson 8. We will be skipping around the lessons. So bear with me with the next few weeks. We're going to have different lessons come up. Oops. All right, so our connection today is to think how fantasy stories usually go. Think about how any fantasy story you've read usually goes. I think of these things when I read my fantasy books. Does the character accomplish their goal right away? Usually in a fantasy book, every character has a goal, okay? Their goal is to do something big, okay? To, like, think of a Paper Bag Princess. Her biggest goal was to get the prince back from the dragon, okay? And she had lots of obstacles to get her there. Do they stay at home or go out on a quest? And that's what we're focusing on, a quest. And that's a fantasy term, a quest we will talk about. Do they have one problem or a series of problems? Most likely, there's more than one problem in a book. In any type of narrative story, realistic fiction, fantasy, there's always at least one problem, if not multiple problems. That's how a story is. So most fantasy stories follow a quest structure, which we are going to go over. The teaching point today, fantasy readers realize that most fantasy stories follow a quest structure. Usually there's both an internal and external. So an internal means you're like obstacles within yourself, feelings, internal, you're like inside of you, any internal issues or problems that you're trying to overcome, being fearful of something, being nervous, those are internal. External are physical things that are not inside, right? So external could be a actual dragons in my way, right? An external could be an obstacle course, something that's not letting you get to the finish line, something physical, okay? So if you think about Paper Bag Princess, external would be the dragon, the burnt down forest of physical things. A quest is a journey to achieve something. Characters may face many obstacles to get what they want. So your job is to investigate and understand the internal and external quest of your books. So I'm going to teach you how I do this with The Thief of Always. What is Harvey's internal and external quest? So external, like I said before, is physical things, not internal, right? So the first thing he wanted to do was go to the house. A quest is something they want to do, something they want to accomplish, okay? Then he wanted to accomplish escaping the house once he was there. He also wanted, after he escaped, to find his home. If you notice, go to the house, was that easy? No, he had problems going to the house. He was bored. He wanted to get out of his school, all these problems. Rickus, it was weird when he came into his house. Escape the house. If you think about this quest, was it easy? No, it took him a while to escape the house. Find his home, that wasn't easy either. So if you're noticing so far, these quests are things that they want to accomplish. And if you think about it, they aren't just a simple thing that are accomplished very easily. There are problems within each of these quests. He then wants to go back to the house to save the children, destroy Mr. Hood's creatures, destroy Mr. Hood, and go back home. All of these, so there's, if you notice, there are multiple external quests in The Thief of Always. So in your books, there will be multiple external quests. If you notice, again, all of these had problems to accomplish the quest. So the quest is the main result, the main goal that they want to accomplish, and there's usually problems along the way. If they get and accomplish something easily, it's probably not a quest, okay? Quests always have problems leading up to the big accomplishment. Internal quests, like I said before, are obstacles inside, more so your feelings, okay? So dealing with boredom, choosing gifts and activities, right? He struggled with wanting to choose things and getting things and then not really being sure about if it was real or not, and not understanding that he was just getting all these gifts and came out of nowhere. Missing his parents, resisting greed, tackling evil, and showing courage and sacrifice. Once again, these are all internal, your feelings, how you feel, not physical, external quests, but these are all things that he wanted to accomplish, or they were inside of him and he was having trouble accomplishing these things. Okay. So notice, once you recognize fantasy stories have a quest structure, like we recognize so far for Harvey and Thief of Always, you will see them all the time in your books as you read and in movies that you watch. When you do, think of internal and external quests that the characters have. All right, so when you guys are going off into your books, to decide on internal and external quests, think about, so for external, we're going to think about what is the big problem or goal? What is their goal? What do they want? What is their big end point? Or not even the end, there could be multiple quests throughout the story. What are the smaller obstacles? So for instance, if I'm thinking of Harvey wanting to leave the house, right? That was one huge external quest that he wanted to accomplish, was to get out of that house. Did he just walk out, no problem? No, he had many problems leaving the house, right? He had to find the right way out. He had to leave at a certain time. There was many problems in that quest. So there were smaller obstacles until he left the house. It wasn't just, oh, I'm going to leave today, walk out the door, and now I'm home, right? There was many obstacles leading up to leaving the house. Internal quests, you want to think about what is inside the character that gets in the way of what they want, of their quest, what they want to accomplish. What are internal flaws that need to be fixed? Are they selfish? Are they stubborn? Those kinds of characteristics. What are the conflicts to overcome? Self-to-self conflict, okay? So when you're having a hard time understanding something, you're having a hard time accepting something, those are all internal, like I said, feelings. And take a minute to think about how you will discuss, or work with this new information in your book clubs, which obviously we're not in book clubs right now, but this is something to think about because this is what you're going to be focusing on today. So fantasy readers should, anytime I show this slide, this is what we've done so far. So this is from session 1. Figure out where the story takes place and ask what kind of place it is. Notice who has the power and gather evidence to support that idea. Learn while the character is learning. Keep track of problems and who has the problems. Suspend judgment about characters. Remember, don't judge a book by its cover. Read metaphorically by considering the dragons. And today is consider internal and external quest structures. So that's our goal today. And remember, as you're reading, guys, always you can think back of these skills that we've learned and still apply them as you're reading. This is a mid-workshop, which is usually I would tell you while you guys are working and stop you and give you a few pointers. But you might notice the other text structures the author uses besides quest structure. For example, flashback may be used. So some of you might be thinking, oh, my fantasy book has a flashback. If you come across a flashback, and a flashback, you guys know what that is. It's when they take you back and tell a story about something in the past, right? If you come across this, think of why the author may have done this. So author's craft, think of, okay, authors don't just throw in anything into a book just because, right? They do it purposely for a reason. It has to be meaningful. So think of, why did the character include this flashback? What does it accomplish for the story? What's the point of this flashback? How does it help me understand any quests? For this part, so like I went over the paper bag princess, as I was talking about in the beginning, Elizabeth's quest to find the prince turns into her understanding she doesn't need the prince to be happy, right? This ends up being the theme. You don't need a Prince Charming to be happy. So also when you're thinking about quests today, and you're going to be writing about internal, external quests of your character, think about how those quests can also tie in to the theme of your story, kind of connect them. Okay, so I would say, okay, the paper bag princess, her quest was to find the prince, but the prince didn't want her when he found her, and she ended up being happy anyway, right? She said to him, like, you're the one who's, I forget her exact words, but she kind of said, like, I don't need you anymore. So she had a change of attitude. Remember, we talk about theme? If a character changes, the whole time she wanted the prince, tried to find the prince, went through dragons, went through burnt down forest to find the prince. But the second he is like, what are you wearing? It's a paper bag. You can't wear that. She turned and she was like, you know what? I don't need you anymore, right? So that's a shift of wanting the prince, and all of a sudden not wanting him, because she realized internally, that was her internal quest to probably be happy, okay? But she realized to be happy, she didn't need the prince, okay? Obviously, this homework part is what you are going to be doing today. So write about a quest in your story, external or internal. If you can try to pick both, like do a few external, a few internal, that'd be great. And how that is helping you develop a theme or life lesson in your story. I did put another slide up, you guys, so you're able to write on it on the next slide. So if I go to the next one, you'll have this workspace here. So like I said, you're going to try to think of your main character and what he or she is trying to accomplish. That's the quest. To think of external quests, consider the task not just as one problem, but a series of smaller obstacles. To think of internal quests, consider what is inside the character, remember feelings, that gets in the way. What internal flaws or conflicts with themselves do they need to overcome? Use text evidence, how do you know? And use the blank slide to record your work. I'm also going to ask you guys to try to tie it in, if you can, to the theme. If you can think of another theme, but this is another skill to help you come up with life lessons or themes in your book. We've gone over multiple skills, how to find themes, and this is just another way. Looking at the quest, looking with how they deal with obstacles, right? We talk about how characters deal with obstacles. That helps us come up with a theme. So as always, remember, we do not have writing, so we expect a good response. I don't want to just see one quest here and one quest here. Multiple quests. You guys are at the point where we've been reading these books for quite a while now, so you should be pretty deep into your books where you have multiple quests. And don't forget your text evidence. All right, if you have any questions, remember to leave a private comment on the assignment. This is due at the end of the day today. If you do not finish it or you do not have time, remember you have Friday to make up work. So we're going to look at all your work by Friday and see if you have the work completed. All right, have a great day, guys. And once again, happy reading, and let me know if you need any help or questions.